Sign the deed, Emily. My father's voice was smooth, rehearsed, like I was a stranger caught stealing, and my mother tilted her wine glass, adding, "Don't pretend you earned that house. Your brother deserves it more. You're single, you don't need all that space." Her words landed like a knife, slow and deliberate, while the chandelier above buzzed faintly, light bouncing across polished wood as if this ambush had been staged for maximum effect. Liam smirked at the table, tapping his fingers, waiting for me to fold like always. "My name is Celine, I'm 29, and if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What do you call family when their love feels like a courtroom verdict already signed?" Dad slid a thick envelope across the table, the legal weight of it thudding against my elbow. "We'll sue if you force us," he warned. "Monday morning, lawyers ready." I didn't touch it. My chest rose and fell against the silence, against the stale scent of overcooked chicken, against Liam's smug little grin. On a teacher's salary, he mocked, "Come on, Celine, let's be real. That house isn't yours to keep." The laugh was small but detonated everything inside me. Memories reeling. Birthdays where he got bikes and gadgets while I got hand-me-downs, holidays where he was toasted as the golden child while I was barely in the frame. But this house, with its faded blue siding, creaky porch, and the lemon tree I nursed through frost, was mine. I fought for it, paid for it, protected it. Sliding my phone from my pocket, I pulled up email threads, title and deed confirmed, receipts attached, proof that every nail, every bill bore my name alone. "Monday works," I said, voice like ice across a pond. "My lawyer will be waiting." The table stilled, Mom's hand frozen around her glass, Liam's smirk collapsing, Dad's jaw twitching like a storm beneath his skin. I rose, pushing my chair back, the varnished edge biting into my palm, the same table where I'd once begged for approval now reduced to a piece of wood. "Remember this," Dad muttered, low and sharp, "you started it." I glanced at the folder untouched, then at the doorway, where light spilled like escape. Outside, the night was cold, clean, my phone pressed to my ear as my lawyer answered on the first ring. He laughed, not cruel, but free, the sound of chains falling. "They don't have a case, Celine," he said. "The house is yours." End of story. But I knew this wasn't the end. It was only the first crack in the facade they'd built around me, and cracks never stop until everything breaks. Inside, their voices rose, Liam insisting I was bluffing, Mom wringing her hands, Dad growling low like thunder before a storm. My lawyer's calm voice steadied me, his words certain, airtight deed. Nothing they could touch. For years I believed their voices over mine, that I was small, that silence was survival, but tonight's silence was no longer currency. "Thank you," I whispered. "You don't have to thank me," he said, "just stand your ground. You've earned this." My reflection in my phone stared back harder, darker, as if meeting myself for the first time. Through the glass door I saw Liam pacing, Mom frantic, Dad rubbing his temples. I cracked the door, leaning against the frame, warmth spilling toward me mixed with the acrid scent of rosemary. "You can't scare me anymore," I said softly. Mom froze, Dad's pen slipped, Liam scoffed, but thin and shaky. "You'll regret this," he hissed. "Funny," I said, "that's exactly what I used to think every time I wanted to say no." I stepped back into the night, the click of the door final, like a gavel striking wood. Driving home through rain-smeared glass, city lights blurring, my chest grew lighter with each mile between me and their table, though under it all lay anticipation. I knew them. They wouldn't retreat. They'd circle back, scheme again, and this time I was ready. Morning light fractured into blades across my wall. My phone buzzed all night, missed calls from Mom, texts from Dad, a voice message from Liam dripping with rage. "You'll be sorry, Celine. I'll make sure of it." I didn't delete it. I saved it. Evidence. At my kitchen table, the one piece of furniture I'd bought brand new, coffee steaming, I traced the rim of my mug, grounding myself as the lemon tree outside bent in the wind. By 9, a knock thundered at my door. My parents stood polished as if for church, Liam behind them in sunglasses despite gray skies. Mom's smile was brittle. "Darling, no lawyers. Let's just talk." Dad's voice low, clipped, You've embarrassed us enough. Don't drag this through court. It'll get ugly. Their words no longer pierced. They skimmed the surface. I stepped aside, gestured to the porch bench. We can talk here, not inside. They faltered, unaccustomed to boundaries. Liam muttered, ridiculous, restless like a child denied candy. I sat across from them, legs crossed, spine straight. You came to threaten me again? Don't bother. My lawyer's waiting. Mom's eyes glistened with fury barely restrained. We raised you, Celine, gave you everything. Everything? Or everything left over after Liam, I shot back. The silence that followed was electric, dangerous. Dad's jaw tightened. Liam's mouth twitched beneath his glasses. You've changed, Dad said with venom. No, I said, I just stopped being small. They left without a word, footsteps sharp on the porch. Inside, adrenaline surged, but I didn't waver. At my desk, Liam's message looped in my earbuds, malice sounding more like desperation each time. My lawyer's email blinked, forward all communications, proof of harassment if needed. A thin smile tugged at my lips. They wanted war? I'd give them paper trails, receipts, timelines. The kind of truth that doesn't vanish when shouting stops. From under my bed, I pulled a box I swore never to open again. Unpaid bills I'd covered for Liam, a prom dress I bought myself when Mom said the budget went to him, a scholarship letter they urged me to decline for his tuition. Each piece more than memory, each evidence of a pattern. Spread across the table, the picture sharpened. I wasn't the black sheep. I was the safety net. My phone buzzed again, this time from an unknown number. Families shouldn't be enemies. Drop the act before everyone knows what you've really done. I laughed bitterly. What I'd really done. Paid bills, saved receipts, built a life on scraps while they poured gold into Liam's hands. They didn't fear lies, they feared exposure. That night thunder rolled, rain hammering the roof as I drafted a letter, not for my lawyer, but for them. Clear, final, laying out everything. Mortgage documents, payments, saved messages, nights I covered Liam's debts, holidays forgotten, silence that cut deeper than words. A mirror of what they'd built. At the bottom, I added one line. If you push this into court, the truth won't stay in this house. It will follow us to every table, every holiday, every neighbor who asks why we don't speak anymore. Sealed steady, I drove into the storm, envelope heavy in my bag, wipers frantic as thunder cracked overhead. Through their window I saw them again, rehearsed at the same table, the choreography of control reset. Dad opened the door, mask stretched thin. You came, he muttered. Of course, I said, shoes squeaking. Family should talk, right? They gathered. Mom smoothed her skirt. Liam smirked into his phone. I placed the envelope on the table, the sound soft but final, like a stone sinking deep. What's this? Mom asked, suspicion sharp. Everything, I replied. Proof the house is mine. Proof your threats won't hold. Proof I carried this family while Liam played golden boy. Liam's smirk faltered. Dad's jaw twitched. Mom's fingers trembled near the envelope as if it might burn. You're exaggerating, Dad clipped. No, I said, you're minimizing. There's a difference. The room went silent, the clock ticking, the air thick with reheated stew. Finally, Liam snapped, voice sharp. So what? You're going to blackmail us with receipts? Pathetic. Not blackmail, I said. Truth. If you drag me through court, this becomes public record. Neighbors, friends, colleagues, everyone will see. The words cracked like lightning. Mom blanched. Dad stiffened. Liam's fists clenched, his voice breaking. You wouldn't dare. I already did, I whispered. My lawyer has everything, copies safe. Silence swallowed the room, rain rattling against windows, thunder shaking walls. And in that silence, I felt it. The first fracture, their power slipping, the weight of truth pressing in. This was no longer about a house. It was about control. And for the first time, it wasn't theirs. The envelope sat unopened in the center of the table, pulsing like a live wire. My mother's fingers hovered above it, trembling not from fear of me, but from the fear of exposure. You're bluffing, Liam spat, but the crack in his voice betrayed him. Leaning forward, knuckles white against the table, he sneered, "You've always been dramatic. You wouldn't risk humiliating your own family."
Risk?
I tilted my head. Humiliation isn't a risk, it's a consequence, one you brought on yourselves. My father's eyes narrowed, the same eyes that froze me when I was 12 and dared to say no, but this time they barely touched me. "Don't forget who fed you, clothed you, raised you," he said slowly, carefully. I pressed my palms flat to the cold wood. "You didn't raise me. You raised Liam. I raised myself." The words landed sharp.